Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Alifian and my college Prawida Yumia will give our opinion about playing video games is harmful. So first of all, what is a video games? Well, to put it very simple, video games are games that you play on electronic device such as a computer, mobile phone, television, or maybe some like Nintendo Switch or PS5. So, in the beginning of the video game history, video games are very simple. Just some black screen with some square of white pixel. However, along with the development of hardware and software, video games also developed to something more realistic that even you can play together with your friend in real time. Video games are very popular these days. Almost everyone must have been played them. Genres for video games are also vary. Some people like racing games, some other like adventure or even exploring. Whatever genre you want, almost all of them are available, including genres that lack of moral.
Nonetheless, the presence of dangerous information in video games is unavoidable nowadays. But what harmful impacts varies from country to country and depending on who is playing the game, while the use of alcohol and narcotics as well as the presentation of unpleasant sex scenes are prohibited in Islamic nations. The same cannot be said about swastikas and other Nazi symbols in Germany, which are not prohibited in most other areas of the world. When games are played by children, teens, and young people who are very vulnerable to media and require protection in order to develop their character properly into maturity, harmful materials become serious concern. The audiovisual media is one of the most important variables in influencing the social and psychological development of individuals in the 21st century, particularly youth. Every year, large quantities of games and recent entertainment goods reach the market, giving the target population an infinite number of options. Parents become aware of importance of age rating system when they learn that their children were exposed to information they had previously fought so hard to keep their children away from through this media. For more than 2 decades, national classifications in several nations dominated game age rating. In Indonesia, we know it as IGS or Indonesia Game Rating System to avoid that concern. But practically, we never know if the users are really eligible as their actual age or not. There are several reasons of harmful risks that are currently known about, including first access. Children have been known to go find and download content that is inappropriate for their age group, as well as scary and upsetting material. When such information is downloaded on mobile phone and spread among peers with the expectation of result that they will look at it, children may be particularly vulnerable. The sheer volume of pornography content in circulation, as well as the simplicity with which it may be obtained, is a new factor. We don't know how or whether this has impacted children's natural sexual development. There have been no big research studies on this, and monitoring the impact of exposure to dangerous material would be challenging methodologically. However, the methodological limitations that make it difficult to prove harm in studies do not rule out the possibility that it is harmful to children. We know that from our direct work with children, the exposure to this information may be unpleasant and confusing for them. The second is contact. By confessing and influencing children into covert interaction or encounter with abusers or potential abusers, the internet and other technology can encourage sexual abuse. Contact sexual abuse, meeting in the real world, and non-contact sexual abuse via webcam and other methods are both possible. We know that minors may be recognized as targeting chat through social networking sites and other online forums. Children may personalize their profile on major social networking sites, making them susceptible to prospective users who may approach them using this information. We urge that you communicate with CEOP about the severity and scope of the situation. And next, cyberbullying. Bullying has already been to have devastating effect on children's social and emotional development, according to a large body of studies. Bullying is a child centered concern since it can lead to self-harm and, in several situations, suicide. We know that the most common reason children call childline is because of bullying in general. The next one is legal content. It's critical to recognize that the development in the mass market for child abuse photos on the internet pose new threat to children. This is true not only in terms of the children who were exploited to create the photographs, but also in terms of the impact on potential users who may be influenced by seeing image. We know that forcing children who have been abused to make photographs has a devastating effect on them, and that their capacity to rehabilitate and the success of therapy will be harmed if the image of their abuse are not removed.
Other variable may mitigate the association between video games playing and aggressive conduct, according to studies that sought to more clearly criticize it. Several studies have revealed that males may be more prone to the effect of violent video games than girls. From the research by Irwin was made up entirely of young boys aged 7 to 8 years old and was part of positive research that found a link between playing video games and aggressiveness. Anderson conducted two studies, one attempt to link real-life video games with real-life aggression, and the other is a short-term effect of violent games with exposure and aggressive thought and behavior in laboratory setting. Both research by Anderson and Gill indicate that men had greater link with video games and aggressiveness both in short term and in real life. Another element that may mitigate the link is child age. Research did by Griffith in this subject discovered that one of few consistent findings is that younger children are more sensitive to effect of video games than the older one. Furthermore, pre-existing inclination to be aggressive appears to amplify the impact of violent video games. The more of evidence is heavily studied topic related to negative impact of video games is the effect of violent video game content on aggressive affect, cognition, and behavior. Several other negative outcomes of video games play are also described, which include risk-taking, attention problems, impulsivity, reduced helping, stereotyping, and video game addiction. Some discussion focus on specific types of game content, game mechanic, and themes to the outcome of observed among game players. Some research focusing on aggression behavior caused by video games, such as Dan Milton and Ybarra, 2004, or maybe a violent behavior like Anderson and Gill, or agreeable. And more other evidence is already become clearer that video games is harmful.
So our conclusion is in Indonesia, we know it as IGRS or Indonesian Game Rating System to avoid the concern. But practically, we never know if the users are really eligible at their actual age or not. Children may personalize their profile on a major social networking site, making them susceptible to prospective abusers. Other variables may mitigate the association between video game and playing and aggressive conduct. And have a greater link with video games and aggressiveness both in the short terms and in real life. Younger children are more sensitive to the effect of video games than older or adolescent children. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.